All right, good evening. Welcome back to the King James Bible Sunday School on YouTube or Rumble, whichever one you're on. I have a stack of books in packages behind me. I'm going to be opening them. Been looking forward to being able to open them, get them on camera here. So let's see. I'm going to go this way, really, and grab one. Around this. I ordered a bunch of used books off of Amazon and abebooks.com. And years ago, shortly after I got saved, I got started on reading Spurgeon sermons, and got a couple of 12 sermon books and particular subjects, power of prayer or something like that, just different things. And I learned a lot, and I read a lot of stuff online. I read his biographies, different ones, and haven't gotten the autobiography yet. But the autobiography is a collection of different writings, so generally speaking. So basically, I really enjoy Spurgeon, but I've started recognizing a lot of promotion of Spurgeon is from early volumes of the Metropolitan Tabernacle Pulpit. And what that means is when he started out, the New Park Street Pulpit is published all the time. People do that. I'm gonna do an opening of the recent the Lost Spurgeon sermons, and what those are also earlier sermons, and you'll see that when I do that. Open it up and explain what's involved in there. But I just saw that was the main thing that kept being promoted. That's back on that shelf back there. You can see on the other side of the shelf over here these two books. You see them on top of this shelf. They're kind of green. And then just below that one, the end of this row right here, also on top of that, the last ones is another. It's a little bit darker because I think it's pushed back further. Those are sermons from the revival years, published by Banner of Truth. And they picked out specific ones to try to promote a specific idea about Spurgeon. And I don't know what it was, but when I read biographies of Spurgeon and read sermons by Spurgeon and looked up a number of different things, I noticed that I was getting a different idea about what Spurgeon was saying than what it seemed like this Banner of Truth company was saying he was saying. And then I've of course read those books too and looked into them very carefully. But it seems like a certain idea is promoted about Spurgeon all the time. And early in my Christian life, I know that I was exposed to particular things that Spurgeon was preaching that was not indicative of the idea they were trying to put across. I don't know if it's just older preaching of his or what, but in any case, it's really easy to find young Spurgeon stuff. He started out preaching in the New Park Street pulpit, when he was 19. Really started out when he was 17, but the New Park Street pulpit when he was 19, and he was there for the 6 years that they published those sermons, and then it became called the Metropolitan Tabernacle Pulpit. So, volume 7 on is past the New Park Street years. But still, he was 20, 25 in that last year, approximately, and a lot of years left to go. Passed away in was it 1892, I think. I know that June 13th is his birthday, and I believe it was I want to say it was 34, but I think I'm getting that wrong. But we'll look at another day maybe to talk more about Spurgeon. But anyway, first package. Don't know if there's going to be any information from the sender of this. Whew, how about that? It's always nice to find stuff. It's old books, you find stuff all the time. All the time you get. Huh, what was that? I found something nice here. Oh, it looks like an advertisement. This is interesting. So, alright, so this is, first one I'll show you, Metropolitan Tabernacle Pulpit, volume 38, and there's 65 volumes. It was printed all the way into 1920 or something like that. Again, another thing I have to look up. But this is a nice thick volume. It's nice. From Banner of Truth, republication. It has in it a paper here says Flame Fellowship, and welcome to Flame Fellowship chapter meeting. Let's see. Meeting some different place and so forth. That's interesting. May 19, I'm sure it's 1997. Not in the 1800s. Got a statement of beliefs here. Home office, Flame Fellowship International, out of, well, let's see, it's Cardiff, CF4. I'm not familiar with Cardiff, but anyway, that may be interesting just to look over. And in it there is bear with me a second. His own funeral sermon. I'm not sure why this is in this way. So I'll show you. Pages are typical, right? And then when he gets to this one here, on page 61, there's that bold line around it. It's not added to it. So he talks about God's will about the future. And he goes for several pages. His own funeral sermon. Members of Christ. Moves on. Living, Loving, Lasting Union address by Spurgeon at the funeral of William Olney. I I forget exactly who William Olney is. I do know that I remember that name, and it's got nice portraits of them. Uh, William Olney over here, Spurgeon on that side. Of course, if you know Spurgeon. And then after those few, it goes back to white paper. No bold outline. I wonder why they were calling attention to that. Now I saw this at the end of it, sword and the trowel, um, special memorial number, and so forth. So thought that was an advertisement in the middle of the book. So that's interesting. Um, anyway, a lot of sermons preached in 1890 in these places. Yeah. Let's see when this one was. Sorry, I've been exploring the book on camera. Yeah, October 19th, 1890. 1890. His own funeral sermon. God's Will About the Future, October 16th, 1890. So, some good stuff. It's got the cover on it still. So I'm going to take care of that. Nice inside, though, too. I'm going to put that cover into some plastic. So, or a protective plastic for it. Next box. And we'll see what we got here. Oh. Alright. Alright, that was for me to see. A little, not a bookmark or anything. The receipt. Somebody put a little something in here. June 13th, the Lord's Day. In what year? It doesn't say. It'd be nice to go and find out what day was June 13th, Sunday, the Lord's Day on. And some verses. And a little. Huh. I was going to say, I'm going to keep it in there. Right here in the middle or some part of foundation work. So this is volume 35 from 1889. Banner of Truth reprint. It's not from that year. Dust jacket, got good cover. It's in good condition. Let's see if there's any more breaks or interruptions here. Or sermon oddities. Revised. Spirit in the Wind. We could look through sermons numbers like 2000. Starts with 2062, goes through 2120. Security of the Believers. It's good to have. Sermons, let's see what year. The sermon was Preparation for the Coming of the Lord. And the one after that is In the Garden with Him. August 8th, 1889. That's when that was preached. So, volume 35. So I'm going to put plastic cover on that. on a plastic cover. It's called something else. Um, if you know what it is, I'm just forgetting the name of it right now. But it's a common thing. Alright, this one's wrapped up in a box differently. Interesting. Get those out of my way. Oh, I'm going to have to take a little bit more care of this cover. Volume 30 from 1884. And again, that's the dust jacket. I'm going to have to take a little better care of this. Clean it up. And look inside here. Of course, it's a Banner of Truth reprint. I'm not saying that this was published by the original publishers, Passmore and Alabaster. And let's just check to see any content information in here. Anything left behind by previous owners? Nah, it's been cleaned out. Alright. Preached, let's see, the children and their hosannas. Delivered on Wednesday evening, May 7th, 1884. Let's see, was it Union something? Let's see. Yeah, Union Chapel, Islington, by request of the Sunday School Union. That's okay. And most of these would be preached at the Metropolitan Tabernacle. God's Work Upon Minister and Convert, April 6, 1884. So yeah, again, something good to get into. Gotta clean that up a little bit. Maybe, I don't know if you can see it. That's dirty. It's got some gunk, some smell to it. But I can clean that up and get that put away right. Alright, now let me bring this one over too. Whoa, we're going to be interrupted with our Spurgeon searching. And I'm opening both of these boxes for a reason, because I know they're not Spurgeon. Wait a second. Alright. First one that I did. And I have to take a little better care of this one. The D.L. Moody collection. The highlights, that's interesting, of his writings, sermons, anecdotes, and life story. And edited and compiled by James S. Bell, Jr. Let's see here. Yeah, it's got biography up top, Moody Classics, which are his little booklets. I wonder if they're much edited. Then anthologies, daily devotions, selection 5 sermons, and about 6 sermons there, and bibliography, self-evaluation guide. Interesting. Okay, had to look at that. Put a protective cover on this as well. But I've been interested in getting this, even though I have sermons, addresses, prayers, and several large volumes of that, and several collections from the 1800s. Yeah, and probably have everything that's in there, and the little booklets as well, stuff like that. And this is Tom Malone preaches on the church. I was interested to grab this, look at it, and go through it. I'll enjoy that. I enjoy studying about the Church of Jesus Christ, and want to make sure that I'm on track all the time. So checking everybody out, looking at things. Previous owner put his name in this, so I have to work on just letting everybody know it's mine. I always write my names. Almost always write my names in the beginning of my books. And also need to put a protective cover on that. Clean it up just a little bit. That'll be nice. And we got another little book here. Let's see what this is. If it's what I was thinking it was or anything like it. Let's see here. Metropolitan Tabernacle Pulpit, sermons preached. Original 1908 printing. That'd be interesting. Let's see here. Sermons by C.H. Spurgeon. This is quite different. Marshall Brothers, publisher. Little red volume. Let's see here. A little bit of a bubble. And sermons in 1883, 83. Blind Man's Eyes Opened or Practical Christianity. It's very yellowed, kind of hard to go through, which is okay, but I'm alright with it. Let me go to the beginning of this. Same publishers, Passmore Alabaster, 1908. I wonder if Marshall Brothers is a recovering somehow. 1908. But yeah, it's saying, let's see here. Published in 1908. Preached in the year 1883. Volume 29. Volume 29. As I was flipping through it earlier, it looked like it was upside down for some reason. Something in it. I think it was just my eyes playing tricks on me, though. So that's interesting. So, like I said, you can see perhaps it kind of washes it out. The light that I have, you can't really tell, but around the edges there, it gets quite brown. You may be able to see it at the moment there. And it's somewhat browned inside also, but the edges are quite brown. So that's going to be one to take good care of so that it doesn't get more damaged. Alright, next segment here, next bunch of things. Now these people wrapped it nicely. They got some bubble wrap on this. This is nice. I got a lot of this. A lot of this was sent over from England, the different bookstores in England selling on ABE books, and got a few from there. Let's see what this is. Okay, pull this paper out. Yeah, Peter Reynolds books. Auckland. Amen. Bishop Auckland, South of Church. Yeah, PeterReynoldsBooks.com. Also, Redu Books, REDUX Books in Wyoming, Michigan. Let's see here. I do want to give you the name of the bookstore if they give it to me. Anyway, take the tape off of this and these. Throw that away. And we got more. My early Christmas stuff that I just went ahead and got my stuff. And can't wait for the children to get me these things. It just won't happen. Yeah. So we'll have to save that for stress relief later. I don't really get stressed at all. So, alright, volume 31, 1885. This again, the Inner Truth reprint. And that's in the 1970s sometime. 71 is most of these that I've gotten so far. But it'll be good. It'll be good to look at sermons that he preached later in life. Like he had the set of Spurgeon sermons. It's 10 volumes or 5 volumes, depending on how they want to print it. 6 volumes or 3 volumes for the New Park Street Pulpit, which goes up to about 1885 or through 85. Not 85, sorry. 1855. So this is 30 years later in the ministry. 30 and close to 40 years into the ministry later. And it'll be nice to just be able to read this in a kind of a contrast to that. But what I was saying was Spurgeon sermons, a 10-volume or 5-volume set from Baker, is very many times, and they don't tell you what year it was printed, but you can go and look for the same sermon, and it's in the New Park Street Pulpit. Many of those sermons are just taken straight from those first 6 volumes. And I don't know if Baker just has permission or had permission to print the first 6 volumes, and that was it, and therefore that's what they did, and then they drew out of those, everything. The Spurgeon's Expository Encyclopedia is another little set that was created. There's something else that does Treasures New and Old or something like that, I think, or Treasury of the Bible, that was selections from sermons, and somebody went to a lot of work to go into and find sermons from Genesis and go through Revelation, is how I understand that to be. And so, that's a good resource, nice thing to have, kind of a commentary on the Bible in that way. But but yeah, it's just those are harder to find. More difficult sets. I think I found one for maybe $150 for the 10 volume um, um, kind of the commentary version. And then the expository encyclopedia is again just selections of sermons uh, put into specific groups. And as I look through it, I want to say they maybe have the dates in those. And very often, very early. So I tried to get some stuff from the 70s, 80s, and on instead of the 50s and even the 60s. Um, I, I took off about 6 books because I just said, that's I'm spending a lot of money. Um, I'm not super wealthy, but um, but I do. I'm glad I got a chance to be able to get these because you don't find them often. Now, if you're interested in Spurgeon, you don't have to spend money to get the books. Okay, go to Spurgeon's sermons online, and the website. I'm gonna look it up. Well, there's SpurgeonGems.org. You can go there, and there's a Spurgeon Library, which is Spurgeon.org. Spurgeon's what I found um, was there something odd about Spurgeon's Gems, and I'm not sure exactly what it was. But if you go to Spurgeon'sGems.org and takes you to Spurgeon sermons, let's go to the first thing so I can tell you it right. Spurgeon'sGems.org. Website's brought to you by the Chapel Library as a ministry of Mount Zion Bible Church in Pensacola, Florida. And you got home sermon, audio, books, prayers, quotes, Spanish, and then about. And if I click on audio, you got audio sermons A through W. And that maybe just be, there may not be any Z sermons. And you can scroll down and see them. Now, the audio sermons
of Preachers
is, of course, somebody reading it. You might have heard that. It's, and they're not bad. It's a way to go through his sermons without having to read every word, especially in these books. These books sometimes are extremely small print. And, reprints, of course, often will have little errors in them and stuff like that. But anyway, continuing on Spurgeon's sermons. So if you go to the sermons part under SpurgeonGems.org, it's got Volume 1, Volume 2, Volume 3. It's got a little expand button so you can look at the individual sermons there. And all the way down to Volume 63, printed in 1967. And that's more like a half book, it looks like. 1917, 1916, the previous one. But yes, either they don't have them all there, which I think they do, or it's just a short book. I'm pretty sure it's just the short book. Our glorious leader down to a cheering congratulation. Looks like like about 20. And usually there's 52. See, 44 plus 7 would be 51, right? Or 40 plus the 1, yeah. So it'd be 52. That one's 52, yeah. 1915. If you click on one of those, God's Memorial. Oh, it's giving me a PDF version. You could copy all these right out of there, save them to a PDF files. It's pretty interesting. It's taking a little while to load. Let me try to speed it back up. It's a little bit sluggish. So let me go back. I'm going to go back beyond that. So I don't have any problem recommending that, but the Spurgeon Library at spurgeon.org. This is the one, not the other one. This is the one that looks odd to me. It just looks strange. So if I go to sermons, resources. They get in different indexes. Browse by author index, year index, topic index, collection index, and so forth. So I got a digital library. Let's see what this will give me. Advanced search filters. It's almost like they're putting these out. I mean, the time is short. February 17, 2020 is the date for the time. The time is short. From Metropolitan Tabernacle Pulpit. So it's like they put it out on a certain date, and they may have gone through. I'm not sure. I wouldn't say necessarily edited, but digitally adjusted. So let's look at the collection index. William 10. I hear they're putting out the right dates. It's 1864, November 13th, 1864. And they get several pages of these things. So, but the Spurgeon Library still, Spurgeon Center for Biblical Preaching at Midwestern University, is still a go-to resource. But yeah, Spurgeon Gems is perhaps a better website. Both of them are having their sluggishness, though. So let me look further. Spurgeon Archive. Now this says Romans45.org. It's not connecting. Kingdom Collective. KingdomCollective.com. This is says up to well, it's over 3,000 sermons, and it says written by Spurgeon, 1834 to 1893. Transcribes from manuscripts edited by Emmett O'Donnell. about the collection. Well, it's something else to look at for Spurgeon if you're interested. Of course, there's nearly 10,000 sermons in the whole 62 volumes. But yeah, when I put in Spurgeon sermons, it gives me Spurgeon's Expository Encyclopedia on ABE books. It's $800. Spurgeon sermons, 10 volumes. I believe it's printed by Baker. And ABE books it's used $160. Baker Spurgeon sermons looks like this is still in the wrap, and maybe both of these are the same. But this is the 5-volume version of that same thing. Exposition of the prophecy of Hosea from Jeremiah Burroughs. See that? That's not right. Then you get the Lost Sermons of Spurgeon. This is again stuff from the early days. And ABE books, 10 volumes set by Spurgeon. All of that's the early years of Spurgeon. These sites that do have all of his sermons somewhere. And I doubt that anybody has gone through all of Spurgeon's sermons and made them audio. Maybe it was Hendrickson that published them. But I do think it's Baker, if I'm not mistaken. I'm looking now, so I found out D.L. Moody Digital Archives. I'm going to leave that on the screen and get it later. That will be nice. And I have to turn all this stuff off. Here we go. Back to, let's see, the second book that was in there is 1882, volume 28. Oh, it's got a little bookmark in there. Book depository. Um, hmm. It's interesting. Sorry, I was just looking at some writing that was in the book. Always interesting to see writing in the books. And anybody write their name in there? Don't think so. Sermons in 1882. Published in 93, of course, and so forth. Alright, let's see here. Beginning of months, January 1st, 1882. A little bit later in the evening, I may need to wrap this up, but I've got so many to open yet. Bear with me. So yeah, that's from 1882 and 1885. And I believe this seller had also there's something that was listed as really close to this, but it was 1860 something. So, you know what I'm thinking is that 1855 or around 1854, 1855. That's when he got started. So the Metropolitan Tabernacle Pulpit starts in about 1861 or thereabouts. Alright, so I gotta tear this box open because it's just not wanting to agree with me. And that's fine and dandy. I'll put that down and pull this. Alright, Cleveland Community Bookshop in Cleveland or Clevedon. Depends on how they're pronouncing it. And yep, that's cool. And they have this 1880, volume 26. And I have to do a little bit of cleaning up on this one. I wish I had the dust jackets on all of them. That would be really nice. But I got a number of them with it. Look for anything anybody's left behind. Oh, there's some highlighting in there. That would be nice to go to. Metropolitan Tabernacle. They got pricing on here that was a lot less than what I paid. But that's okay. Put it online and get the Americans to buy it. We're the only ones still reading them. Is that what it is? I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe it is. Salvation. Yes. Salvation by works, a criminal doctrine. That'd be good to look at. And see, there's a star by Mahanaim, or hosts of angels. Mahanaim. Okay, no other marks. First sermon here. Sermon delivered at the Metropolitan Tabernacle. This was followed by a farewell address from his son, Thomas Spurgeon. Questions which ought to be asked. Farewell address. Number 1050, or I'm sorry, 1511. Ooh, they're not giving dates on these. I dislike it when they don't give the dates. Loyal to the core. Preacher Metropolitan Tabernacle. Cheer up, my comrades. But, you know, if they say that it was published then, this says January 1st, 1880. A letter from Mr. Spurgeon. Before keynote to the choice sonnet. Let me go to the next one. It's kind of a letter attached to these. I'm assuming then this was the time he was not in the pulpit, and I have to go back over his life story to see when those times were, and they were using something from some years before. And it's more or less revised in the year. So that's nice. I like that. I'll put these down here. Take these two, set them aside, and here we go. This is interesting. Yes, I mentioned this in a different video. The View from Mount Calvary by John Phillips. 24 portraits of the cross. throughout Scripture, and been looking forward to getting that. I like sermons about the cross, and there's a little note in here from the person that sent it, or originally gave it to the person who originally owned it, something like that. And New Testament, Old Testament. Only missing a couple of books from the Old Testament. I need the whole New Testament. I did find from when I went to a different part of my shelving, Revelation, exploring Revelation from John Phillips, and I have over there on the shelf behind me, exploring Ecclesiastes. I just happen to have those aside just to be able to look at them. Good. So this will be really great to get into as soon as I can. A whole lot of stuff to do, but that's good. Now, I got a box over here. Christmas is not over, and these look like they've been wrapped up two together. So, in newspaper. Alright, so let's get this opened. And these, I saved them for last for a reason. I knew it would be better for me to do that way. Here we go. The Metropolitan Tabernacle Pulpit, 1900, Passmore, in alabaster. Is that right? Passmore, alabaster? Yeah, Passmore, in alabaster. Preached, revised, and published during the year 1900. He, of course, passed away before that. The death of Christ for his people, and so forth. This is a little bit thinner than I was expecting, but that's fine. Intended for reading on Lord's Day, January 7th, 1900. Delivered by Spurgeon on the Lord's Day in the winter of 1857. So, that'd be interesting. I wonder if they are saying they got an exposition in there between. Yeah, they're saying this is, in other words, intended for reading. If you'll read it on the Lord's Day, you would read through this book in a year, and then you get the next one next year, and read through it once a year. You'd go through Spurgeon sermons, and if you read each Sunday, you would go through Spurgeon sermons in 63 years. If you start from the beginning. Alright, so let me put this aside over here. That's nice. This is, again, Metropolitan Tabernacle, 1886. And it's got a marking here, volume 32, Passmore Alabaster. These have a little bit of weakness to the spine. And it's 86, still during his lifetime. And let me get to second part here. Alright, intended for reading there, yep. Preached on August 16th, 1885. Intended for reading January 10th, 86. See if there's any leftovers from previous owners or some. Ooh, there's some marking and some writing in this in certain areas. And this page is bent over twice in there too. Yeah. It's interesting. It's good. And older stuff, I may have to reinforce these spines. Just be very careful. Of course, when reading them, take care of them. That's nice. To older copies prior to the reprints. Let me see. These come from there it is. Gage Postal Books in the United Kingdom, Westcliff on the Sea. Gage Postal Books. So I give credit where it's due for them having these and selling them to me. So I don't think they have them anymore. They may have more copies. Possible. But these are the old copies from originals 1897. Metropolitan Tabernacle. It's got this nice picture in the front too. We preach Christ and Him crucified. (1897) is, of course, after his passing. Alright, so I'm sure it looks like 1885 for some of them, at least. And just checking to see if there's anything left behind. There's a few notes, a few little pen writings in here, so those will be interesting to go through. Let me see what that was. Looked like an advertisement in here. Nope, I didn't see what I thought I saw. And that's that one. Then we have an 1896. 1896. So what I'm hoping to do is to be able to read a whole lot of these, of course. And my intention would be to read every single one of them. And really see if I can identify some flavor of difference between young Spurgeon, just starting out, new Spurgeon, and Spurgeon that's 40 years seasoned, 20 to 30 years or so. Anyway, I know that most preachers will adjust as the years go by, and not that they compromise or change things they believed drastically, but they say things differently for sure. And I know that there are some things that I once said, and I've learned better. I, have changed in some strict senses. All right, we got another one from Banner Truth Trust, volume 27, 1881. And let's see. Try to check for leftovers. Okay. It's nice to see Banner of Truth was able to publish like the entire set at some point in their time. That's interesting. It looked like two sermons were created or made one, something like that. 1981. Again, he may have been absent. It's just saying he preached it in the pulpit, not given a year. But it, of course, may all be in 1881. They just didn't publish it that way. All right, that's still nice, still good to have. I appreciate it greatly. Second book on that stack, though, is a 1901 Metropolitan Tabernacle by Passmore Alabaster. And 1901, I think one of those is 1900 that I have there. I have to look again. Volume 47. Yep, there we go. Let's see, just glance. Anything left behind? This one's browning quite a bit. Not as much as the red covered one. May have been that 1900 I'm thinking of. Preached in 1880. At least the first one. Preached in 1880. This one preached during the winter of 1858 to 59. So he has something with young Spurgeon there. Intended to be read in 1901. Now this one would be interesting. The site of iniquity. To see if that's in the lost sermons section. Now another interesting concept there in the online things is that there are sermons here, and then after the sermon, and it's over, there's an exposition in this John 15, 12 through 27. And then after this one, there's another, I saw another exposition, John 15, John 8, no, 7 here, 14 through 53. And I wonder if they are contained in the online versions of these volumes. Now the Spurgeon.org, the Spurgeon Archive, the Spurgeon Center, or something like that, has different sections, and they have expositions somewhere separate from the sermons. So, let's see here. We'll put this here. Getting a little bit into the late time, but I do want to go through this unedited, opening up all my Spurgeon, mostly Spurgeon here, right? A few other books. And I got two more. Passmore and Alabaster. These are the last two. I'm gonna wind this down. This book from 1899, sermons, and then there is a piece of paper in here. It has writing, a little bit on this back side here. Inside, okay, that was just covering it up. right at, let's see, what shall the harvest be? July 23rd, 1899. Preached actually in 1882, May 14th. May 14th. And this is harvest time. Harvest time. Is this Joshua? Hosea 8:7. And it is written in some small cursive with some pretty fine print. As a result of one loving. I'm gonna have to make this larger. I mean, I can read cursive, but I have to decipher it. Especially when it's small print. I'm gonna have to get my magnifying glass out. Yes. It does have some advertisement in this one. If you can see. Spurgeon's autobiography. Etc. Standard Life of Mr. Spurgeon. That's, of course, several volumes. They were still publishing them at the time. Pretty lengthy. Sword in the Trowels out there. Somebody has that also online as well. You can read all this stuff for free. Just a matter of finding where it is and taking the time to do that. And most of you know how to get your computer to read to you. So anyway, purchase that. That's nice and good. Let's take care of these. And this one is 1883. Volume 29. I mean, I have another 1883 over here, do I? I thought I saw volume 29 written somewhere. I have to look. Really take care of it. The Star and the Wise Men. Yeah, let's just checking for something from the era. There's some underlining in here, some notes. Looks like they were taken. So that'll be another one, another good one to go to and go through. 1983. Put this here. Move these. Look at this one again. Yep, I think that this one right here is 1883. The red one. So I'll still have it. It's nice to have, but I'll take a good look through it and I'll find a good place to put those. somewhere nice to deal with. Anyway, you can see the stack there. I do have another box that I want to open. New books, new stuff, and a couple Bibles. Maybe 3 Bibles in there, actually. And to do this, to put this together, that together, keep my brain wrapped around what I'm doing. I knew I recognized a couple of those sermons in that thing. So, um, from probably 40 minutes, 35 minutes ago. Anyway, if you have questions about Spurgeon, put them in the comments. If you have comments about Spurgeon, put them in the comments. Love to hear anything you got to say about it. I mean, don't be mean or anything. I don't think that's necessary. Um, you can tell me your impressions of him, whether or not you're interested in reading him. Um, I don't know if you would have stayed with this video for too long if you weren't interested in him in any way. But tell me what you got. If you got a collection of Spurgeon, I'd love to see that. Um, I've got a lot of different stuff that I could show you. It's in the other room though, and pretty interesting. Like I said in another video, I just recently got Spurgeon's own hymn book. And the interesting thing about this hymn book is, of course, it doesn't have the notes for you to follow. It does give a a um, a beat. Um, I forget exactly what that's called, but like 8686, and so you can put it to a tune that you know is the same beat, and it should work fine. But it's not given particular tunes, so I find that kind of interesting. And it may mean that people can sing these songs in different ways in different places. So, but anyway, that was an interesting thing. I'll probably pull that out sometime and show you uh, if you keep following me. And for now, though, just gonna say good night. Have a good night. We'll see you again um, for the unboxing of the rest of this. Um, that'll be good to get into. But anyway, have a good rest of your evening. Um, get some rest. It's coming close to Sunday. We're in Saturday now, so get prepared for Sunday school and Sunday morning and Sunday evening services, whatever else you can have going on at your church. I think there may be something going on at church that I'm not thinking of right now, but probably not. Um, but like I said, prepare yourself for getting into the Word of God wherever you go to church, wherever you gather with people of God, and serve our Lord. And pray for me. Uh, if you will, watch all those day by day devotionals or start watching them. If you don't have a time of devotion in your life, hope that it can encourage you. I may be able to encourage you in some way to get there. But we'll have some more conversations about this stuff later. Like I said, leave information in the comments below. If you have any thoughts, ideas, you have any comments, even if you're being mean, I can put up with that and listen to it, see what you have to say. And you may or may not be right. Who knows until you put it down. So uh, we'll see you below, and we'll see you later on in the next unboxing video or some other video having to do with the Bible, the Word of God, and things that'll help you grow in your Christian life. And like I said, have a good night, and we'll see you later. Bye.